What in your office? What was the state of the Vice President's phone on the crash site?
Nkhani yomwe yamanga nthenje kwambiri kumapetoku ndiyokhuzana ndi foni ya Chilima imene idasowa. Kodi inapita kuti nanga anaitenga ndani? Mkulu amene yetu mafunso nde wapanikizidwa kwambiri koma tamverani momwe wayankhira nkosana ameneyo.
Malawi Today.
What in your office? What was the state of the Vice President's phone on the crash site? Do you know anything, or you were not reported to, considering that your officers were on the ground?
Chair, the IG reports to the President. The DG reports to the President. The Commander reports to the President. What is in the purview of the Commander, if the Commander is handling, if the DG is reasonable, you'll expect that he has been reported to the President or otherwise. So for me, the phones that were handed over to the IG, it had basically nothing. For me, and my understanding was that it is being kept for purposes of either investigation or maybe finally handing over to the family. So that what, and remember, as I said, when the site was cordoned off, because my officers don't declare themselves, they were not amongst those allowed to access the site. It was only the police and the military, because they were uniformed, they would know each other.
So you are suggesting your officers don't have IDs to identify themselves before the police and the army?
I said operationally it is not advisable for intelligence officers to introduce themselves.
Chair, I may have to stop there.
Yeah, let's move to the next one. I would like to recognize somebody who has not asked any question. So can I start with you, Molanje North, then we go to Doha Kasangazi. Okay.
Thank you very much, Chair. Just a few questions, Pastor Ngwira. The first one is on the mandate. Section 4F, I think, it was referred to by the Chair as well. And also you being one of the people that are involved in drafting of this, I'm sure you are quite aware of it. It mandates your service to protect VVIPs. And given the statutory duty, I just want to find out, did your institution have a specific security and risk assessment for the Vice President, the travel to the north on 9th, is it on 10th June?
No.
Where your office, was it expected to do the assessment as an institution with the Vice President being a VVIP with an intention to travel from Lilongwe to Mzuzu? Were you not expected to do an assessment?
Chair, upon request, we do, and we were doing. The challenge, that's why I was referring to the political history of our system, because when we have tried to be proactive, it has been construed as if you are trying to spy on us. So on request, and a lot of systems have requested Reserve Bank and everybody, and we have deployed those operations and assisted. Thank you.
Now, you've mentioned so much about, your concern, the paramount concern is where there is a threat to national security. Is that correct?
Very correct.
Now, were you aware that the platform or the aircraft that was being used to ferry VVIPs had a defective tracking system?
Chair, I was not aware, and I have ridden on that aircraft a number of times, maybe 7 times.
Were you aware that Mzuzu Airport at the material time was not licensed to get any sort of plane to land on it?
Chair, we're very aware. That is why, even a lot of work was being done on Mzuzu to make sure that it gets to a point that it gets licensed. But for a Dornier can run even on a football ground if it is long enough.
Yes, but I just wanted to see whether you were aware that...
we were aware.
Now, would operating or ferrying a VVIP, including the president, in a plane with a defective tracking system qualify as a threat to national security?
It could, especially if it is operated by civilian actors. But this plane was operated by the Malawi Defense Force.
Again, would allowing the head of state or even the VIP to land on a unlicensed airdrome or airport, would that qualify as a threat to the national security?
Chair, I think the national security does not include taking away the prerogative of experts who handle those platforms. Because I'll be commenting on something that I am not competent technically to comment or to comment on. Because the military, from the time of Camus, they are the ones who have handled aircrafts by the VVIPs from Camus up to now. And they have always done well. Of course, this is an accident, and probably the first one where VVIP is involved. Very unfortunate, but for me to, I can't commit to such a declaration. It would be, how do I put it? It would be me not being truthful.
As your former institution, which you headed, was it not necessary that you should be aware of the state of the platform or the aircraft that carried the VVIPs, so that you can give proper advice regarding the safety of the occupants?
Chair, let me put it this way. Government does not spy on government unless you have picked up a very evident serious threat to national security. Maybe you have information that the military want to take over government. But also, that is one of the reasons why I have referred to the critical importance of the National Security Council. Because these things are supposed to be brought on the table where all the service chiefs are there, and you know the challenges there, the challenges there. So unfortunately in our system, it depends on the goodwill of people sharing information or ad hoc arrangements. So it will be expecting to, and remember, in terms of even the service, and I wouldn't want to go in as much as we improved even the numbers, very exponentially. The numbers were still very much below, by so much percentage. I don't want to, because it would be like exposing, challenges and the like, So you must still bear in mind, just like the military, this is a service that was operating within an environment of serious challenges, resource-wise and everything. But a lot of that information normally comes where there are structures established by law, like the national security, that obliges systems or services to share this information on the open table, so that even the leadership at the top there understands these things very well. Thank you, Chair.
Finally, did you, as an institution, whether you personally or your officers, ever report the status of Mzuzu Airdrome not being licensed, and that being a danger to the VVIPs?
Chair, not just to the VVIPs. That's one of the reasons why Malawi Airlines and the other commercial airlines were not flying there, because it was not in good state. even the efforts to improve it and so that we open up the channel there in the north was coming partly, not wholly, but partly from some of our reports. But we must all understand, this was a military aircraft. The only military aircraft that was bought for VVIPs was that Puma. Before, and the time of Kamuzu, he had the Puma, he had the jet. The jet was for long hauls, and the Puma was for local running. After the Puma was grounded, the VVIPs basically were borrowing the aircraft, which under normal circumstances they're not supposed to be using. So, and yet at the same time, you wouldn't expect the military to say, no, you can't use it. It's in our environment that we operate in, and at the rate of how we change the commanders of MDF, here, so that's what I can say, Chair.
Oh, finally, so from the evidence or from the testimonies that we've heard that this plane, the ill-fated plane, did not have a tracking device, commonly known as ELT. At the time of the accident, both the pilots did not have updated medical certificates or records. Where the plane was going, the aerodrome was not licensed. All these were, so who should be held accountable for allowing this aircraft to ferry or to travel around ferrying VVIPs?
Chair, let me respond this way. Unless it is critically important that we force matters to find somebody accountable. Because sometimes an investigation must be that how do we improve so that this never happens again? Because sometimes you may ask yourself this question: did any of these cause the accident? Because you may be finding accountability maybe on a peripheral issue. That is why every accident, type of accident, whether it's a fire accident, aircraft accident, homicide, whatever, has got its own experts that look at the critical issues. My advice here, Chair, when it comes to such questions, you need to take a leaf seriously from the report that the German Aviation Authority did, because they are the experts. We don't even have that expertise in Malawi to see what critical things are looked at in aviation accidents. Otherwise, instead of healing, we may just be perpetuating this. Now I speak as a national security advisor. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you.
Dawa Kasangas and then Lilong Moody. Okay, can we just let the others exhaust? Yeah.
Thank you very much, Chair. I have just one question for the former Director General. Did you gather any information relating to the cause of the accident in question?
Chair, we are tempted. I should say that, we are tempted, but by the end of the day, it is in the attempting where sometimes you learn how much incapacitated you are, to not because you have not done enough to have that capacity, but that capacity is not supposed to have to be in your system. That is why for us we dwell so much on the how do I put it, the German report. Of course, some people, there were information that maybe the principal wanted by all means to go to the funeral, so they were trying to land in Chikangawa, but that would be speculation without any proper evidence. Yes, because to say that we gathered any tangible information to the cause of the accident as National Intelligence Service would be lying, Chair. Thank you.
Longomude.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson. It's just a few questions for confirmation for record's sake. Former DG, I would want you to confirm. If you want to add any comment, you can add, but would you confirm to this committee that the information you have is that the search started around 11 when the aircraft did not arrive in Mzuzu? Can you confirm to that, or is that correct?
I cannot confirm the exact time, to be honest, but it started immediately. They noted that the plane has not returned to Lilongwe, because it seemed that there may have been information that the plane is returning to Lilongwe. But looking at their timing, that is why they constituted the Joint Aviation Command Center, which is the normal practice in an aviation accident. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. That will help us. The second confirmation I want is, did you actually tell this committee that your office, when you were there, you offered the office of the VP to have NIS staff, but you never got a response as to agree to that offer or not? Did you tell us that?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Thank you very much. And the third one is, I want to ask you if you are competent enough to tell this committee on how military aircrafts operate, because we have been told they operate different than civilian aircrafts. So are you competent enough to tell us about the airports where military aircrafts are supposed to land, or the tracking device that is supposed to be on the military aircraft? Are you competent enough to tell us that?
Chair, I am not competent.
Thank you so much. Chair, my last one is a comment. I think on the issue of phones by the VP, the former VP, late Dr. Chilima, we have only had one evidence from in this committee that the phones did not go to the madam in time, but we have it on record that at the funeral ceremony, the relative of the late Vice President made mention about the funds and the property that it has been given to them. So I think it will be up to us as a committee to further investigate it, instead of using that as a basis of our evidence and then ask more questions about why it did not happen. I thought I should just make that observation and appeal to you, Chair, if we could actually get more evidence about the funds themselves, instead of maybe making some comments that will make people think otherwise. Thank you, Chair.
Sure. We can't be conclusive because we haven't gone to search and rescue, where we will look at a chain of custody of funds and property and everything else. So, yeah, at this stage, nothing is conclusive. Thank you. Okay, so can we just be very brief now for you that are making supplementary? I need the chair, the vice chair to finalize. So Mwanza and then Deza and then Deza Mayani.
Chair, just a supplementary on the safety and risk assessment. Is it mandatory or you do it? I want to confirm because I think I got it that you are, if you are requested to conduct a search and a safety and risk assessment. So I just want to be clear whether it is indeed upon a request or you are mandatory as an intelligence department to assess the risk or safety issues where the VVIP is going to.
Chair, let me put it. It's either. It's not either way, but both ways. For example, where he was going to Nkarabe, basically officers will be on the ground. If they pick up anything, they will engage with the team that goes advance for the VP side or anything. Now, it is mandatory, where possible, to protect the VVIPs. Now, the nature of the protection, that is within the tradecraft or the modus operandi or concepts of operation of the service. Now, on request, there are specific areas, especially because of the dynamics where officers were not actually placed within his office. Because the normal system elsewhere, his officers must actually be placed within his office, and the actors, they interchange. So, but with the lack of that, people worked, and a number of times that has been actually, acknowledged that we have done that. But the environment, to be honest, even I wouldn't want to mention the current environment because I'm not involved. But looking at where we are coming from, it has been a difficult environment. But it has to do with our political system, not the two offices. It's our political system in its entirety. Sometimes the two offices wouldn't be having the challenges that they have if it wasn't or it isn't for the environment or the way we are politically structured as a nation. Thank you.
Yeah, last one, Chair. You have mentioned political environment, you've mentioned it several times. What was the political environment? Can you tell this committee? Because you've mentioned it that several times that because of the political environment, Can you explain what was the political environment?
Let me be blunt, because I've been sometimes in one or two meetings where the vice president, the president is there and I'm there. What we picked up was that some leaders in the UTM would be trying to convince even the VP, even to get out of the alliance. And this started quite early, 2021, And some leaders in the MCP would be trying to convince President Chakwera that let's kick them out of the alliance. So when I speak of political environment, it's not just the two people, because they're operating in an environment. Now, Chair, let's be honest with each other. For 31 years, this country had no vice president. The first time we had a vice president was 1994. My take from a national security perspective is that we are yet to grow into a system that knows probably even laws have to change. Because countries, they say where they have the deputy president has specific function, like in South Africa, where he handles parliament and things like those. So these are conversations, Chair, that maybe it will be stretching from the point of view of your committee, because what transpired after the accident is it's also very important, in as much as us looking at the accident not happening again the way it happened or the way the search and rescue happened. Because there are questions we are not honest to ask each other about in the political environment we are operating in. I thought, Chair, that's what I basically meant. Thank you.
Yeah, Chair, that's what I wanted to find out. So the political environment, you want to confirm that you picked that there were people in MCP, leaders, who were saying let's kick them out of the alliance, and there were leaders in UTM who were asking the late Chilima to get out of the alliance. You picked that as an intelligence director.
Obvious, and I believe not only me, even members of the public. It was very obvious.
I think.
That's why I used the word it is a given fact at the beginning, and you questioned me. So now you're confirming that there was. But anyways, besides the point, it's good that we're interacting freely, and I appreciate that. Okay, good. Can we just one more so we conclude? Right.
Chair, thank you very much. I just wanted to get some parting statements, and you bear with me. There are about four lines that I just wanted to get a clarification from him. Some of them were supposed to be actually asked in the beginning. So I just wanted you to understand your background. You said you've been with NIS since 1997. Did I got you correct?
Yes, Chair.
When did you finally leave NIS?
I left NIS in October 2025. But Chair, on and off, because I am one of those species that has been fired and rehired frequently by the government.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to understand some technical terms. We are saying National Intelligence Service. Is this a spying agent, or can you describe it? Is it a spying agent?
Chair, maybe there comes a time for certain things to be demystified. You know, when you say intelligence, it's simply processed information, and more than 95% of the intelligence information, the source is public information. Only that the intelligence officer has the science, because intelligence is a science. There are countries like in Kenya, they even have a university where people do PhDs in strategic intelligence analysis and all other things. So how you process, because you have to triangulate, correlate, is this true? Because a proper intelligence system does not report lies. You know, you can't be disinforming your principles. You disinform an enemy, you know. Now, for national intelligence, normally what comes, what we call espionage, where you have to spy and deploy certain intrusive mechanism, is usually 2, 3, maybe at the stretch 5% of the intelligence information. Majority of the information is in the public domain. But when it is gathered, it has to be processed for decision making mostly. I hope I have assisted, Chair.
I just wanted to understand from that point to say, what's the difference between what you do and the police, CID, and others who do a similar way? What's the difference between the two of you? Because if I fail to understand that, then I might judge you maybe wrongly. So I just wanted to understand from that aspect. Then I shall ask my final questions, because there is a basis why I'm asking that. Thank you.
In simple terms, Chair, the CID, they investigate crimes that have already taken place. That's why in a normal, for example, like the US, they have more than 15 intelligence systems, each one, because they have the money, you know. Other countries have got 2, one for external, like Uganda and the like, one for domestic. But for us, the national intelligence, both domestic and external, are in one service. Now, even the police are supposed to have their own intelligence system, besides the investigations, so that they are able to profile these gangs and what before, so there are certain things they can swat before the crimes actually take place. Now, for intelligence is basically before the threat becomes a cancer, or before the threat hits and causes harm to people in the country, this must be discovered. And then, you know, so, and intelligence, maybe, so Chair, you allow me the grace. It doesn't come, you know, maybe after this, maybe it will be another 90 years before one of me species comes here. Intelligence, there is operational intelligence. Who did what and what, and then there is a strategic intelligence. How systems are, you know, deployed. Are these systems strong? What takes for a strong nation? Those kind of things. So maybe that's what I can say, Chair. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. The background I was asking those questions is to understand in one of your statements where you said you had found out that there were these other dangerous kind of trends or threats, such that in your statement, I just wanted to make sure that I point to that statement where you are recommending to say there is need for further investigations. I think it was